What we are listening to is Johann Sebastian Bach's famous Prelude in the key of C major. Listeners of classical music are used to titles like Prelude in C major by Bach. But what does this title mean? What is a musical key and why is it important? Hello, I'm Dr. Moti Adler. In this video, I'll demonstrate how a classical music piece works and what the role of its key is in the process. For this purpose, I'll compare a musical piece to a walk in the country. Now, two things are important when we take a walk in the country. First of all, the walk should be safe. When we leave home, we want to make sure that we return home safely. Second of all, we would like the track and the landscape to be interesting. For example, a walk across valleys and hills might be more fun than a walk across flat land. Like in this countryside metaphor, musical pieces start from an imaginary home. Then they lead us through valleys and hills of sounds. And, very importantly, they take us back home. What comprises the sense of home and the experience of wandering through hills and valleys are musical chords. I'll use Bach's Prelude to illustrate this point. The piece starts with two C major chords. Here is a C note. And here is a C major chord based on this note. This C major chord is going to be the imaginary home in our countryside image. This same chord will be both the starting point of the piece and the resting place at the end. In musical terminology, this chord is called the key of the piece. Maybe we can imagine how we lock the door behind us with the key when we leave the house and open it up again with the same key once we've returned. Let's listen to the start of the piece. After these C major chords come other chords, as if we begin to climb up and down musical hills and valleys. The variety of chords and the sophistication of their progression give different musical pieces their unique characters. Here, for example, is a point at the middle of the prelude where the chords have moved away from the starting C major chords. We can feel that we are no longer at the start of the piece. Near the end of the piece, we hear that the C major chord hasn't arrived yet. However, we can feel that the final C major chord is approaching, and with it, our return home. Of course, the key of C major is not unique. Bach could have chosen other chords as the starting and finishing chords. Indeed, Bach composed other preludes in all possible major and minor keys: D major, G major, F minor, and so on. Classical music pieces might be in different keys, however, they all generally share the same large scheme. They begin with a key chord, then they climb up and down the musical space with other chords, and at the end, they return to the same key chord. An interesting question to ask is why Bach chose to write this particular prelude in C major, another prelude in D major, and so on. Of course, Bach's choices were not random, they were intentional and quite subtle. Each musical chord and key have a slightly different character, because some chords are higher and some are lower. Some musical keys have a lighter character, while others have a deeper, darker feel. When Bach and other composers prepared to compose a new piece, one of the things they had to consider was which key best suited the instrument and the character of the melody and harmony. Many times, we can even guess the character of a classical music piece before hearing a single note. We can do it by paying attention to the key in the title of the piece. This is because composers often return to the same keys when they want to express similar emotions. For example, Haydn's symphonies in C major are generally festive and bright. Mozart's piano concertos in B flat major are often mellow and gentle. Beethoven's piano sonatas in C minor are quite stormy. So, I hope you got a sense of what a musical key is, what its importance is to the structure of the music, and why it is often contained in the title of classical music pieces. Goodbye! I'm Moti Adler, and we'll meet again in my next video on classical music.